Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Ramel from City Skin Clinic, and today we're going to start the first of a series of videos about wedding day non-surgical aesthetic treatments. This is a topic that's really close to my heart. I've helped many brides and grooms prepare for the big day. I've helped myself prepare for the big day, and so I'm really passionate about this. The series is going to start off with Botox. That's going to be the topic of today's video. It's all about how to prepare, when to have Botox, which treatments are most popular, and really how to make sure that you minimize any negative effects, how to get the best outcome, and how to time it. And then the rest of the series, there'll be separate videos to follow about dermal fillers before your big day, how to plan those and when to have them, what to avoid and what to do to just make sure you get the best outcome. There'll be another video about professional skin treatments, things like Profilo, chemical peels, microneedling, and how to plan those before the big day so you get amazing glowing skin. And then the Obagi skin transformation systems and tretinoin will be the final video in this series. So before we get started, if you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're a returning visitor, welcome back. Thank you so much for all your support. If you haven't already done so, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Wedding day Botox. So as you know, Botox works by freezing muscles that cause wrinkles or activity, and that helps reduce the appearance of wrinkles or eliminates them if they're dynamic. It also can be used to do other things like lift brows and smooth and sculpt the neck. The most common treatment, Botox treatment that we see that people get before their wedding or want to get is Botox of the upper face, most commonly the forehead, the frown lines, and also around the eyes, the crow's feet. And this is really to smooth those lines and wrinkles and give a really nice smooth effect to the upper face. It also opens up the eyes. It's an amazing treatment at the best of times, but can really help you kind of look and feel your best before the big day. Other common treatments that we see in people who are planning a wedding or getting married is Botox brow lift. So to help just give the brows a bit of a raise and open the eye area. The other two are Botox jaw slimming and Botox in the neck. With all of these treatments, it's really important to approach this journey with some thoughtfulness and also give yourself as much time as possible. So whilst Botox is a really effective treatment, you want to make sure that what you are hoping to get out of the treatment is in line with what it can do. So for example, if you have ingrained wrinkles that are there all the time, or if you have deep wrinkles here, for example, Botox isn't going to help with that, and it's best not to have a treatment unless it's going to improve things, and there may be alternative treatments that you're better with. The other thing to bear in mind is Botox, there are a couple of unique things about it. Number one, the results take about a couple of weeks before you actually see the full effect. So it's a treatment that you don't know what's happened straight away. The other thing is Botox can't be reversed. It lasts for as long as it's going to last, and then it wears off. So for most people, that's around an average of 3 to 4 months. Some people it's about a couple of months, some people it's a bit longer. Unless you've had Botox before, you won't know where you fall in that group. And so I always advise everyone, if you have not had Botox before, you really want to get Botox at least 1 or 2 times before you have the Botox for your wedding. That way you know whether you like the effect of it. You also know whether it's going to work with how you want to look and style yourself for the day. You also want to make sure that the dose of Botox is the right dose for you, and the technique used is what's going to give you a nice even result. And also you want to know that if there are any kind of corrections or anything that's needed, then that can be done ahead of your wedding. And of course, if Botox doesn't agree with you or you hate it, you want to know that really early so that you can forget about it and maybe explore other treatment options. I generally, for Botox in the upper face, and also Botox for things like the gummy smile or jawline Botox, I recommend ideally you start 9 months before the wedding. That way, if you've not had Botox before, you have your first treatment. That treatment firstly will show what's the right dose for you, because often people after the 2 weeks they may need to come back for a bit of a correction, a bit of a top up to just perfect the dose. Then you also establish whether you like the effect of the Botox. Whether you enjoy the way it looks, whether you find that actually would you have preferred perhaps lower dose so you can have a bit more movement as well as smoothness, or whether you actually would prefer no movement at all. It's a very personal decision, and so that first dose establishes what you like. Then what you want to do is establish how long the Botox lasts for you. So after you've had that first one and it's been perfected, you go and live your life and carry on with your wedding planning if you're that organized, and then you want to figure out, so if you're the average person, then probably at the 3 months mark you'll realize that it's time to have it again. The first dose is also really important because you kind of decide, like, if you went and you like the clinic and you are happy with the treatment, that is where you stick with for the rest of your treatments, including obviously the wedding day dose. If you went to a clinic and you hated it, or a practitioner you didn't like them, or all of that, then you cut your losses and you go somewhere else, because this is a really important journey. And when you're getting ready for a wedding, you don't want any unnecessary stress, and you want to know people have your back. For our patients, we will sit with them, we will figure out what the timeline is for the wedding, plan out when to have the treatments that they want to have, when the best time for that is, so that they really get the best outcome. And that's the sort of relationship you want with your practitioner when you are doing these treatments. So the second time, let's say you're happy, the second time you go, usually you will then have the dose, including all of the touch-ups, corrections, everything, because that's kind of seen as your ideal dose and treatment. And then after that, you'll see. So if it's the ideal dose, then that's perfect. If it still needed a bit of tweaking, that gets added. And then again, you wait and see how long it lasts, and if you're happy with it and all of that. And at that point, if you are starting to think about your makeup for the day, or hair, or outfit you're wearing, all of those things, photographs, you want to know that kind of this treatment works with what you have planned and the look that you have for yourself. So if you've had these 2 treatments, and let's say it's been 6 months, then what you want to do, if it's worn off at kind of 3 or 4 months mark after that, what you want is then, if your wedding is less than the period that the Botox lasts with you, so if Botox lasts 3 months with you and your wedding is in 3 months exactly, what you might want to do is take your pre-wedding Botox, and you want to make sure that you have it about 4 to 6 weeks before the wedding. The reason for that is it gives it time for the Botox to work. It allows time for any tweakments or top-ups to be done, and for your face to kind of adjust to that and benefit from it. And if there's any problem or anything like that, it allows plenty of time to correct it. So if you give it that 4 to 6 weeks, you get your perfect dose, but also the Botox will still be at its peak. Don't have your Botox really far from the wedding, because by the time it gets to the wedding it may be starting to wear off, but don't have it too close so that there's no time to correct anything. So I would say start ideally 9 months before the wedding, and so that you'll have had a couple of times the Botox before the final one. If you really don't have 9 months, start 6 months, but again, make sure that you've had at least 1, preferably 2 before the wedding, and then you have that wedding Botox. And absolutely, the wedding Botox must be about 4 to 6 weeks before the big day, so that you don't have any issues. Another reason I'm really particular about spending time figuring out the right dose and the right look for you is Botox, if it's done in a really heavy-handed way, it's at the best times it's not a good look, but on your wedding day, when you're already stressed and there's so much happening, if you've had Botox overdone, your face completely frozen, it looks unnatural, and you're super stressed, you may end up looking crazy. Because that's not to be harsh to anyone, but it may happen. The reason for that is if there's no expression whatsoever in the face, and let's say you've had your brows done and they're super, super raised, and then the makeup has accentuated that if you're wearing makeup, and then there's tension because you're stressed out in your eyes and the lower face because the top of the face has been totally immobilized, it's not a look that you want, and your photos will not look great. You'll just look really unhappy, maybe angry, probably quite crazy. So don't do that. Make sure that you've had it a few times and you've got the ideal dose so that you're happy with it, and it softens your appearance rather than makes it look harsh, because you really want to not worry about that on your big day. This applies for Botox everywhere apart from the neck. So some people might want to have Botox in their neck just to help improve the neck, make it look a little bit more sculpted. That's the non-surgical neck lift or the Nefertiti lift. In the neck, I would say you can afford to have it once before you have it for the wedding. So the first time lets you know that you're happy with the treatment, it's worthwhile doing, there are no kind of negative effects or anything, and your perfect dose as well is worked out. With the neck lift, I would advise having the wedding neck treatment probably 4 to 6 weeks before the big day. More on the 6-week side, just because there are lots of injections and they're superficial injections, and there's a tendency to get bruising. And if you end up needing a refinement or a top up, that can also cause bruising again. And so what you want is to make sure that you have, between the treatment and if any correction is needed, a good 3-4 weeks after that second correction if needed, or top up, or whatever you want to call it, or touch up, in case there's any bruising, because you really don't want to be worried about bruising on the day, and bruising on the neck is not a good look at the best of times, but especially not on your wedding day. So I would recommend having it, the wedding neck Botox itself, that treatment, the first one, 6 to 9 months again before the wedding, just to make sure you're happy, you like it, all of that. And then the second treatment, so the wedding day treatment, have that about 6 weeks before the day itself, so that if there is anything additional that's needed, there's plenty of time to heal, and there's plenty of time for bruising and etc. to kind of come down. So that's kind of it for wedding day Botox. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and look out for the rest of our series on wedding day treatments. If you haven't already done so, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Until next time, stay beautiful.